Hey guys, welcome back to the second part of our raising angles videos. This video is going to be a little bit shorter than the first one. This one we're going to talk about just special angle relationships, angle pairs. Um, so this one is going to be titled Angle Relationships. Okay. So angle relationships. So the first one we're going to start off with these are all some special angle pairs that we need to be familiar with as we go through. You'll need to know what these angle pairs are talking about. So the first one is called adjacent. And apologize for the writing there. Let's try that again. Adjacent angles. So adjacent angles are two angles that have a common vertex and a common side. All right, so basically it's going to be two angles that are like connected, that are like right next to each other. So for example here, and what that's going to look like is we have our angle. So our first angle looks like this. Let's move that up just a little bit. So this would be like one angle, but then if we have another angle that kind of comes off of that and shares that same vertex, all right, so if we name this X, Y, Z, W, and then let's look at our angles. So we have angle XYW and WYZ. Those are what we call adjacent angles. They both have, and if we write those out, so the red one is angle WYZ, and then the blue one is angle XYW. Now, if you look at the commonality in these two, they both have that same vertex letter Y right here. And then they both share this side YW. Okay, so that side is used on both angles, right? So those are what we call adjacent angles. Okay, moving on. The next relationship we have is what we call a linear pair. Linear, the main part of the word linear is line. So a linear pair create a straight line. So our definition here is a pair of adjacent angles that are opposite rays. Oh, I'm sorry, I left some out. Pair of adjacent angles that the non-common sides are opposite rays. Okay, so let's take a look at what that's going to look like. So let's start off with, so here's my first angle. Okay, so there's my first angle. But then let's draw a second angle. All right, so you notice I only drew one other ray here, but now I've created two angles. And what's important about these two angles is that, here's one angle, here's another angle. Well, this side and this side are my non-common sides of those red and blue angles, and they form this straight line. So they're rays that are going in opposite directions. All right, so that's what we call a linear pair. So this would be my first angle, and this is my second angle in my pair. Okay, and what we look at a lot of times is that together those angles form a rainbow. So they form this purple straight line. All right, so we call that a linear pair. All right, so next on the list is we have vertical angles. So vertical angles are formed when we have two intersecting lines. All right, so let's take a look at an example here. So if we look here, whenever we have two intersecting lines, what happens is we create 1, 2, 3, 4 angles. All right, so your opposite angles. So angles 1, angle 3 are opposite. So that's what we call a vertical angle pair. Okay? And then angles 2 is up here, and 4, which is down here. That would be an vertical angle pair. All right, so we would have angles 1 and angles 3 as a vertical pair, and angle 2, angle 4 would be a vertical pair. Okay? So vertical angles are formed with two intersecting lines. All right, and it's always the angles that are across from each other. Okay? So finally, time, 7 minutes. All right. Finally, we're going to have two that kind of go together. One is complementary angles. Complementary angles are any two angles that add up to 90 degrees. All right, so we kind of talk about the complement of a certain angle. So, what would be the complement of 20 degrees? The complement would be 70 degrees, because 20 plus 70 is 90. All right, so what would be the complement of 45-degree angle? So its complement would be 45 degrees, because 45 plus 45 is 90. All right? Now on the flip side of that, not really the flip side, but kind of related to that, we have what's called supplementary angles. Kind of similar to complementary, but supplementary angles are any two angles that add up to 180 degrees. All right, so kind of the same sense, we talk about the supplements of angles. So what would be the supplement of 120 degrees? That supplement would be 60 degrees, because 120 plus 60 is 180. All right, so what would be the supplement of 90 degrees? So the supplement of 90 degrees would be 90 degrees, because 90 plus 90 is 180. All right, and that finishes this video on the different angle pair relationships. I hope this helps. If you have any questions or would like to see anything further, please comment. and let me know what you would like to see a video on. Thank you, and hope you enjoy the rest of your day.